Hey everybody, it's me, Amelia Lady B, and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time visiting, go ahead, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to know when I post a new video. Don't forget to share. If you are returning, welcome back. So today I will be doing my video about the different types of hysterectomy. So I decided to do this because not many people know what a hysterectomy is, and that there are different types. Not all of them are the same, and some will leave you without being able to have children, and some you can still have children. So stay tuned. So today's lesson is brought to you by me, Amelia Lady B, a millennial in menopause. So I have my trusty drawing here. Yes, do not make fun of it. This is your female reproductive system. As you can see, your vagina, cervix, ovaries, fallopian tubes, and your uterus. And so we're going to talk about hysterectomies, different types, that is. Okay, so the first type is a total hysterectomy. A total hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus, which is this area here, the uterus, and then the cervix. Cervix is the smaller part down here. So all of that's the only thing that is removed. So you would still have your ovaries, but you won't have a uterus and a cervix, which means because you don't have a uterus, you will not be able to have children because there's no place for the baby to hold, because the uterus is where the baby typically is not typically, this is where the baby is carried. So the subtotal or partial hysterectomy is the uterus is removed but the cervix is left. So uterus is removed but the cervix is left. Okay. Also, partial hysterectomies could also be, you could have a partial hysterectomy with oophorectomy, which is the removal of like one ovary. So you could have the uterus and possibly like the cervix, and then one ovary removed. That is still considered a partial hysterectomy. So a hysterectomy and bilateral oophorectomy, okay, that is when the uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries are removed. So all of this area here, that is a bilateral Salpingo oophorectomy. So you'll still have your cervix, you'll still have your full vagina, but you will be missing the top half here. A radical hysterectomy, which is the most extensive hysterectomy, is when the uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, upper part of the vagina, pelvic ligaments, and lymph nodes are removed. I hope my drawing was a big help as to knowing what a hysterectomy looks like, or different types of hysterectomies, what they look like. Every woman is different. Every woman will have, depending on what she's going through, will have a certain type of hysterectomy if it is required by a doctor. So it's various things that cause a person to have a hysterectomy. It could be endometriosis, cancer, ovarian failure, fibroids, cervical cancer. Well, I did say cancers, so any type of different types of cancers. And if there was any damage done to the reproductive system. So if you were unfortunately in an accident or something, and something happened and where they had to perform a hysterectomy, then you'd have a hysterectomy, and typically, not typically, I don't like to say that word, why am I saying that word? Not typically, but possibly you may or may not be able to have children depending on the extent of the surgery. Having a hysterectomy is a very big decision if it's a decision that you make on your own. Unfortunately, sometimes people have emergency surgeries and the doctors do whatever they have to do, and a person can wake up and have a hysterectomy, and it's not something that they consented to, but maybe it was something that saved their life, and a family member had to consent to. Like I said, it's if you have to make the decision, it's a hard decision to make. Sometimes you really don't even have much of a choice. For myself, my doctor just informed me that due to my endometriosis was really severe, I had to, like, he just was like, you have to, for your quality of life, to have the radical hysterectomy. So I had a radical hysterectomy performed, which, as we know, ovaries, uterus, fallopian tubes, cervix, and partial vagina as well. So right now I have a short vagina. I just actually had an annual. I have not had any signs of endometriosis, so I'm all in the clear right now. If you don't know, endometriosis is not cured by a hysterectomy, but it is possible if your physician really knows what they're doing or can really get all endo tissue, all that. If they are really extensive in their surgery and really get it all, it's a possibility that you won't have to deal with endometriosis ever again. Unfortunately, there are women who still experience endo because maybe a physician was not able to get all of the endometriosis tissue when they had their hysterectomy, whichever type that they've had. Typically, the reason why the ovaries are removed for a hysterectomy for endometriosis is because the ovaries are what holds all of your hormones. That's where you get your hormones from. So your estrogen and everything. That's what makes you balances out. That's how you have your period. It balances out your body, your hormone level. So with the removal of them, you have hot flashes, right? You start exhibiting signs of menopause. With them, you typically will not exhibit signs of menopause because you still have your hormones. You still have your hormones in your body that are keeping you regulated. Women who do have partial hysterectomies, if they have one ovary removed, typically will actually start having symptoms of menopause. The reason being is because you only have one ovary, and so the without two of them who is managing your body, you're getting that influx of estrogen and things like that. With the removal with only having one, there's less hormones being produced, so you can also still go into menopause. But most definitely, when you have radical, you're going right into menopause off the bat. Complications that can occur, just like any surgery, there can be complications to having a hysterectomy, which include having blood clot, severe infection, bleeding, bowel blockages, urinary tract injury, infections, things like that, problems related to the anesthesia. So that's like any surgery, but because because the doctor is doing such an extensive surgery when it comes to a hysterectomy, you could have multiple complications. I had a blood clot in my leg. When I woke up, I couldn't feel my leg, so I did have a DVT, which is a deep vein thrombosis in my right leg, and I had to go on warfarin. When I was in the hospital, they shot me up with a lot of it wasn't heparin, it was something else, I can't remember the name of it, but Lovenox, that's what it was. They shot me up with Lovenox and all different types of things to try to get me get the blood clot to dissolve, which did dissolve. Ended up coming out of the hospital having to be on warfarin, which is its generic term of Coumadin. So I had to be on that for some time. Again, the decision, some have an opportunity to have a decision, some don't. It's all up to you. No one can make the decision for you. It's a hard one. For some it is, for some it's not. Now there are some women who actually want to have it, like they're begging their doctors to have it because you're dealing with so much pain. You probably dealt with pain since your childhood or early teenage, young adulthood, how much ever long, and you're just done with it and you want to go ahead and have your hysterectomy. Some say, well, I've had all my kids, let's just get this done and over with. Even those who did not have kids even still make the decision because they're like, listen, my decision is I'll adopt, I'm cool with it, let's just get this done and over with. Then you have those who it's very hard because either you have not had children yet, or you're still wanting to build your family with your own children, and so it's kind of a difficult decision. A lot of people can say, oh, well, you can adopt. It's not that easy. It's not that. Your mind, when you think of, when you growing up and you're thinking of, starting your family, a lot of people don't think of adoption first off the top of their head. A lot of people really, it's, you want to be a mommy in the sense that you're bringing life into the world. You hear all the time, oh, it's so wonderful, women can bring life into the world, make life and bring it into the world, and da-da-da. And it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult decision, and it's a difficult time when you do have it, when you have the hysterectomy and know that you cannot bring life into the world. So it's just it's a hard decision. I'm not gonna lie, it's a hard decision. I can't tell you yes, have it. I can't tell you don't have it. Pros and cons. Some pros and cons. Cons are again, but it all depends on the type of hysterectomy you have. So for me, I can only know for radical hysterectomy. So for my radical hysterectomy, the cons: going right into menopause immediately in the hospital after surgery. It's immediate. And you are dealing with the effects of having your hormones like literally ripped out of your system quickly. So your body is a new body. You have to adjust to this body. So you are adjusting to, now you're having hot flashes, moods, brain fog, weight gain, anxiety, feelings of like doom. I mean, that feeling of doom was more so when I was in the hospital and when I first came out, because it was, I don't know, it was just like a weird feeling of like something was gonna happen, something bad was gonna happen. And I think it was just, I think because your emotions are everywhere and your body's not really sure what's happening, and because you don't have, you're not regulated in any way, it's just like this fear just grips you, and it's like everything makes you emotional. Literally everything makes you emotional. Everything makes you emotional. I would have to get waken up to get shots, and I cry every shot. Yeah, it hurts, but I cried literally for the smallest things, guys. I cried. So it's like your emotions are on a roller coaster ride of like ups, downs, twirls, every which way you can think a roller coaster does, and beyond, it does it. Sometimes you feel like you're jumping off of a cliff. But yeah, so you're dealing with all of that immediately. Also, a con is, again, if you are someone who's wanted to have children and now you cannot, that is an emotional thing that you have to deal with. And seeking therapy is a must during this process. I even, honestly, I will tell you this because this is something that I wish I had known. I probably said it in multiple videos, but I'm gonna keep saying it. But I really think if you are currently right now dealing with any issue right now in your body when it comes to your reproductive health, if you're dealing with endo, PCOS, fibroids, anything like that, go to a therapist, because I think a therapist will allow and help you to process everything that you're going through. And also, even if your doctor was to say you have to have a hysterectomy, you're able to process this information with your therapist. When you have your surgery and you wake up and you come out of your surgery, you can call your therapist to have a session. I didn't have that. It didn't even cross my mind. And I think it's because we go through so much through the years of dealing with our issues that all we think about is going to the gyno to get our checkup, getting test results, getting tests ran and all that kind of stuff, going to primary care, getting blood work done, going to get medication, this, that, back and forth to the doctor's office, that we forget that it's playing a mental toll on our bodies. And when it plays a mental toll, it also plays a physical toll. So honestly, it's like, especially, I'm going to say, because I know for sure with endo, well, with any disease, with anything that you're dealing with, when you're really stressed, it causes your body to react. So your endo flares will happen even more when you're stressed. It will happen even more. And we all know that affects our periods, because our periods stay on longer, they'll be probably heavier, you'll experience more pain, all of that. So I think seeking therapy, having that close confidant, I mean, even if you can, like, it's really hard, I know, because I tried to educate my family. It's like, I don't think nobody really believed me until my first surgery. My very first surgery. After that, nobody believed me before then. Like, outside of my mom, but my mom passed away when I was 15. So at that point, I was kind of dealing with all this on my own. So when I moved away and I was living with my aunt, she didn't really believe me. She thought I was trying to get out of washing dishes, cleaning up and stuff like that. And it was just like, yo, no, I'm in pain for real. So it wasn't until my very first surgery, she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were dealing with something like this. Like, and I was able to help her understand what endometriosis was. And so when you have people in your life who are open to learning, that's even a more positive. But I still encourage you to seek therapy before, so that you can process what's happening and going to happen. So if you decide to have a hysterectomy, you're able to process this. If you're on the fence, you're able to process it with an outside party who does not know you, and able to help you process what's happening in your life and what you're going to be, what you're going to expect as well. Other cons, managing your emotions. I think I already said that, but I think with each symptom is its own beast. It's its own con, because you have to learn your body all over again. You have to learn who you are. You have to learn what makes you feel good, what just even what makes you tick again. You kind of lose yourself. You lose yourself. And I think anyone with menopause kind of can feel this way. Not kind of can feel this way, but feels this way as well, whether you're going into like perimenopause into menopause, because you change everything. You begin to change, you just change. And so with surgical menopause, the changes like that. So we have to learn ourselves at an accelerated rate. And at the same time, we don't even know what's happening. So if you're watching this video, right? If you're watching this and you're about to have a hysterectomy, or you're thinking about it, I'm glad I have the opportunity to share this with you, because I did not have this. I didn't know exactly what I was going to be getting into. Literally the only thing I thought about a hysterectomy was, and about menopause, was hot flashes. That's it. That's all I thought of. That's all I knew. Oh, and I did know about like osteoporosis and taking care of, your body and stuff like that, which is another con when it comes to health. You are now taking even more extreme measures in your healthcare. Do your research. Okay. Do your research. You can watch my videos, but definitely do your research. If I think of other cons, because like I said, I think that every I don't want to say symptom, but every cause from menopause is its own con. Okay, so pros. Okay, so pros are, I'm not in pain anymore. Okay. Not in pain, not in endo pain. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not in endo pain. But I had other complications, so that's just knock that out. But so if you're dealing with menstrual pain, really bad menstrual cramps due to your fibroids, whatever, abdominal pain, and you're dealing with from your fibroids, PCOS, endo, whatever, you more than likely will not have that again. If you have endo, you might not, depending on if your doctor can get all that out of there. PCOS, you won't experience that anymore. You won't have pain from that. Your fibroids, you won't have pain for that, because typically when they remove all that, your body doesn't have enough to produce any cysts, or you can't produce any cysts or fibroids. That's to my knowledge. Maybe I need to look that up before I say that. So just look that up. I'm not a doctor. Another pro is that, hey, when it's summertime, you want to go out to the beach, you want to go to the pool, you ain't have to worry about your period. You want to wear your white pants, wear your white pants, sis. You don't have to worry about none of that no more. Like, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on new underwear all the time, because man, I went through underwear like it was nobody's business. Like, you don't have to worry about leaking, you don't have to be worried about messing up your sheets, you ain't got to worry about messing up your clothes, spending money on pads or tampons and pads, and all of that. You ain't got to worry about that no more. You just don't. You don't have to worry about tracking. Okay, well, next week let me take my Advil this time, and let me da. You ain't got to worry about it no more. I must say you don't have to worry about that no more. That's like a positive. That's a pro. Any other pros? Nope, there's no other pros. That's about it. That's like the only pro I can think of. Whatever you decide, if you're in the process of making a decision, do your research and talk to your doctor. Go see a therapist so that you can process this information, process what's going on. Talk to family if you have family that you can confide in. If you're married, go ahead and talk that over with family. A con. Another con. Con is vaginal dryness. That's something you have to work out. Vaginal dryness. Vaginal dryness. And also, vaginal dryness. So, vaginal dryness, you can use a little bit of coconut oil. Natural, great lubrication. And you won't feel dry. You won't feel dry and have any issues down there. If you are sexually active, you will have to deal with, of course, pain during sex. So you may want to talk to your doctor. Of course, he'll probably tell you just lubrications, a lot of lubrication, and then talk to them even too about your vagina when they are doing the surgery. Reason being, this is stuff I did not know. It's stuff I did not know. I am not sexually active. However, my doctor, and I didn't realize this, I think, until I got a question from someone on Instagram asking me about vaginal prolapse. What vaginal prolapse is. Hey, so I had to stop the video here because after recording, I realized that I didn't give accurate information, so I had to look up vaginal prolapse. So anterior vaginal wall prolapse, what it's called, often occurs at the top of the vagina where the uterus used to be in women who have had a hysterectomy. It occurs when the bladder supportive tissue, called the fascia, stretch or detach from the attachments securing it to the pelvic bones. With the loss of support, the bladder falls down into the vagina. As this condition worsens, the prolapsed pelvic organs may bulge outside the opening of the vagina, causing pressure, discomfort, or pain. Other symptoms of this type of vaginal prolapse includes urinary infection, nighttime voiding, loss of bladder control, and recurrent bladder infections, usually due to the bladder not emptying well, stress, urinary incontinence, with activity such as laughing, coughing, sneezing, or exercising, caused by weakened support of the urethra. So this, ladies, is what anterior vaginal wall prolapse is after a woman has a, typically it'd be like a radical hysterectomy or hysterectomy where you no longer have the uterus, from what I'm reading and what this sounds like. I will link this, where I got this information from, the website link, inside of the description of the video. All right, back to the video. I just really hope that whatever I share on my channel is able to help somebody through their process and to learn more about their bodies. I always say, talk to your doctor, do your own research, and take notes. You know, that's all we can really do. Pray about it. Definitely pray about it. Definitely pray about it. I didn't have much time. I couldn't pray about it. All I had to pray for, I did pray that I have a successful surgery and that I wake up. And yeah. So if you're out there trying to make a decision, have to make a decision, not sure about a decision, you know, I pray that God will give you the strength through this process, and that whatever decision that you make, you will be at peace with the decision. Not only will you be at peace, but you'll be able to manage through this process. And if that means you have to rewatch my YouTube videos, if you are on Google trying to figure things out, you're following me on Instagram, and you just however it may be, you just need to ask a question, put a comment below. DM me. I am still taking DMs, I guess, until they get too overwhelming, and then I'll be like, email me. I'm just here trying to give the information, trying to help where I can, and that's pretty much it. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another video. If you're not following me, go ahead and follow me on Millennial and Menopause on Instagram. You can also go ahead, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell to know when I post a new video. You can follow me on Facebook at Millennial and Menopause as well. And until next time, be blessed. Toodles.